Throughout your life, you will meet people who will mean to you more than others will. Usually, these people are members of your soul family. In the soul family, you have different types of members. And in this video, I will talk about karmic relationships. Karmics or karmic relationships are people that when you meet them for the first time, will trigger you massively. So if it is attraction that you feel for them, it will be a massive attraction. If it is repulsion that you feel for them, you will feel repelled by them like you have never been repelled by anyone before in your life. And the reason being, karmics are in your life to teach you one, sometimes two, usually no more than two lessons, and then leave your life. Karmics are not supposed to stay in your life for a very long period of time. If they stay in your life for, say, between 1 to 3 years, then that is quite a long time for a karmic. The reason why you will meet karmics in your life is because you are in this 3D world not only to experience yourself as the drop of source that we all are experiencing itself through each and every one of us, but also for you to remember who you are. And in order to do that, the higher self, source, God, call it whatever you want, will send you people along the way to teach you lessons. And the lessons that karmics teach you are usually, not always, but usually, lessons that you will quite easily identify, and provided that you are aware of the lesson they are teaching you, provided that you are aware that even though you do not know, you do not have the name karmic, but you know that they are in your life to teach you something, provided that you know that, chances are you will learn the lesson pretty quickly. So an example of a karmic is someone that you actually, the first time you meet, you are in total disagreement with, but they manage to win you over. And even though you would have never thought you would become quote-unquote friends with them, you end up being friends with them. But pretty quickly you realize that you are not meant to be friends with them because the things they do, the things they say, do not align with who you are. And so you all of a sudden remember that the first time you met them, you felt a sort of repulsion, right? And that repulsion was basically a gut feeling, or dare I say a heart feeling, because unconditional love resides in the heart, and usually when you listen to your heart, you usually do it for unconditional love for you and for others, but for you first and mainly. And you remember that your first impulse was to put some distance between them and you. You didn't do it. You didn't do it because you needed to learn a lesson from them. But as your friendship, or the thing that you think was a friendship, goes on, you realize that you are in complete inadequation with them. Like you do not align. And if you do not enter any kind of romantic relationship with them, you will eventually cut them out of your life because you will have learned the lesson. Usually, if they cut you out of their life, it is because you haven't learned the lesson, and that the higher self, which always does anything and everything for your greatest good, will put you out of said relationship, because if you had stayed in that relationship, you would have suffered so much that you would have become blinded to the lesson the karmic entered your life was supposed to teach you. So that is just one example. Another example is when you feel total attraction to a karmic. you will quite possibly enter a relationship, a romantic relationship with them. But the romantic relationship will not be smooth sailing at all. It will be quite dramatic, which can involve substance abuse, can involve cheating, can involve even, physical harm, and anything you can imagine that would qualify for from an outsider's point of view, toxic relationship. And usually you enter such relationship because you need an impulse to learn the lesson. And when you are physically, romantically attracted to someone, you will usually go to higher grounds than when you are not in a romantic relationship with them. And so you will do your hardest to learn the lesson. For instance, if the lesson is a tough one to learn, you will stick around because of your romantic involvement with the karmic. Eventually, just like with a friendship, karmic relationship, you will either learn the lesson and cut them out of your life, or they will cut you out of their life because you didn't learn the lesson, and the higher self is here to protect you at the end of the day and to remove you from that relationship. Oh, don't be worried. Once the higher self does that, usually they will they will bring in another karmic into your life. Usually a nicer one, but still a karmic, to teach you the same lesson. And interesting thing is that when you learn lessons from karmics, be they karmics that you were originally attracted to or repulsed by, the higher self will bring in at times more karmics into your life to see if you really learned the lesson. And usually when you learn the lesson, it is when you say, oh no, I've been there before, I learned my lesson, I don't want that person in my life. And that is how the higher self will test you and see if you not only learned the lesson, but integrated it into your life. And karmics are not bad people. I know that karmics can cause tremendous amount of pain. Karmic can be extremely toxic. Karmics can be extremely hurtful and harmful. But the reason why they are in your life is for you, as I said, to learn a lesson. And they are basically doing what they are supposed to do. Now you might say, well, wait a minute. If you are here to learn a lesson from a karmic, and the karmic, even though he's an asshole, is doing this because they are supposed to teach you something, doesn't that make karmics tools, for the higher self to play with? No, not so, because when you enter a karmic relationship, you have to keep in mind that you are a karmic relationship to them too. So they will learn something from you too. And usually when, as I said, you didn't learn your lesson and they cut you out of their lives, it's because they learned a lesson and they cut you out of their life because they learned a lesson. Therefore, you are of no use to them. And when I say use, I don't mean that people are just, things you use in order to learn a lesson. That's not what it is. It's just we all learn from each other, right? And karmic relationships are quite possibly, if you don't talk about twin flames, which I will touch upon in another video, karmics are quite possibly the most chaotic and the most painful lessons. And that is why they are usually short-lived, because it takes a lot of your energy to entertain a karmic relationship. But the thing is, you only have karmic relationships in your life to understand and learn a lesson. And when you are done for good. And unlike what you can feel with soulmates or twin flames, when you learned a lesson from a karmic and you are done with them, you are really done with them. Meaning that either you have total indifference for them, or you see them as a toxic relationship that taught you something, and you don't want to see them again. But you do not harbor any kind of bitterness or anger, provided that you learn the lesson. Because to hold any kind of anger is, like the Buddha said, drinking a cup of poisoned tea, hoping that the other will get poisoned. You are only hurting yourself when you do that. And that is one of the lessons that you have to learn. That having bitterness or anger or any kind of what would be qualified as negative feelings for anyone doesn't do anything for the object of those feelings. AKA the object of your hatred, the object of your bitterness, the object of your jealousy. It only hurts you. And to put a fine bow on this very short video about karmics, of course it can go way deeper, but I intend for this video to be quite short and just, the basics of what a karmic is. A karmic, once they have left your life and you have learned a lesson, you will not need or feel the need to have them in your life again. While a karmic that cut you out of their life because you didn't learn the lesson and the higher self, intervened to protect you in a way, you will always feel like, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. Which, by the way, is not the right way to think about anything in life, because what is the past is the past. But the only thing that you can do with the past is to learn from it. And so when you haven't learned a lesson from a karmic, but the karmic just cut you out of their life, the higher self will bring in more people like that karmic, but not them, a different person like that karmic, with the same lesson that they will have to teach you. And this time, when you meet them, you will be more prepared, if you will, and you will be able to learn the lesson quicker. And the funny thing about it is that when you learn the lesson and you manage to cut them out of your life because you did learn the lesson, you will realize that the karmic before them that cut you out of their life because you didn't learn the same lesson, that person too will not matter to you anymore. It will almost be like, once the lesson is learned, every single person that is supposed to teach said lesson do not matter anymore in your life because you learned that lesson. On to the next. And that is what a karmic is in a very small, tiny, compact nutshell, if you will.